Sairam, everyone. Just to recap what we discussed last week, to continue on. Swami is talking to us about the need for cleansing the mind and also strengthening the mind, feeding the mind. He listed japa, by repetition of the name, dhyana, meditation, and also namasmarana as tools to cleanse the mind. And he said contemplation on God and dhyanam are which strengthen the mind, through which we can attain the goal of meditation. That's what we discussed. Just to summarize, whatever we have read so far, Swami is taking us through a variety of scenarios which we have to take into consideration for us to get into dhyana proper, or to fully benefit from the exercise dhyana. I happened to listen to a discourse of Swami which he delivered on the 24th of November 1980 recently, in which he says for meditation we have to take into consideration various rules. One, he says niyamita vidhi, apara vidhi, and paripurna vidhi. Basically, niyamita vidhi is what are things which you should do, step-by-step instructions of what has to be done, which Swami took us through in the first 2-3 chapters. Then he also says what we should not do. Apara vidhi tells, what are the things which should be avoided, which may create problems. And then he also has gone into saying paripurna vidhi, means all aspects which we have to take into consideration when we are doing meditation. And then Swami gives a nice example. He says if somebody is invited to say come and eat, we cannot just rush and sit and start gobbling food. He says we have to go wash our hands and clean ourselves and get ready for eating. And then we have to come to the dining table and sit properly and eat. So he says everything has to be, just when somebody says eat food doesn't mean we should neglect everything. Only when we look at everything in all aspects, the meal will be done properly. So that was an example Swami was giving in the discourse. I thought I would just share, relating to meditation again. That's what Swami was talking about. Sairam, with those thoughts, I think we will continue from where we left off. Sairam, Sister Kalyani and Sister Narmada.
Sairam, clean and feed the mind. Just as soap is necessary to make this external body clean, repetition of the divine name, meditation, and remembrance, smrana, are needed to clean the interior mind. Just as food and drink are needed to keep the body strong, contemplation of the Lord and meditation on the Atma are needed to strengthen the mind. Without this food and drink, the mind will just totter this way and that. As long as the waves are agitating the top, the bottom cannot be seen. When the waves of desire agitate the waters of the mind, how can one see the base, the Atma? The tottering causes the wave and is caused by want of food and drink. So, clean the mind with contemplation of the Lord. Feed it with meditation on the Atma. Only meditation and spiritual practice, sadhana, can clean the depths of the mind and give it strength. Without purity and strength, the Atma recedes into the distance and peace flees.
Thank you very much, sisters. So this is what we discussed last week. So I sort of covered in the opening comments. So I will open it up for any thoughts which anyone wants to discuss about this. We'll pause for about 10 seconds to see if anyone has something to say. If not, we will move on to the next chapter. Actually, sorry.
I just had a quick question. Sorry. I just have a quick question about the remembrance of the Lord's name and smarana. Like, say you, just a practical question, like say you have some time to do japa or something like that. Is it better, or is one better than the other? For example, if you were to sing bhajans where you're singing the names of various different forms of God, versus just repeating japa, or is just saying Om Sri Sai Ram again and again, like is there one that's better or preferable?
Anyway, I'll open it up. Good question, sister. I will open it up for anyone to comment. So she's asking about japa and bhajana. Which is more effective or preferable? Did I get the question right, sister? Yeah. So I will open it up for anyone to comment, Saira.
So, Sairam, brother. So, Namaswarna, you can tell anytime, anywhere. Japa, you have to, we always call with the Japa Mala. This is 108 bits are there. You have to say the same name up to the 108 times. You sit in one place and repeat the same name, Japa. And the dhyana or meditations, you focus on one item or one thing, and you coordinate with japa and meditate things. So two things going on. So that is under meditation. So Namaswarna you can tell anywhere, anytime. Japa, you have to sit in one place, you have to take the japa mala and rotate the mala inwardly. So hold the hand, hold the japa mala. There's a 100 mitsa there. You have to say the name of the Lord, repeat the name. It has to go towards inwardly. So even the holding that mala, they say the thumb is the Paramatma and the index finger is the Jiva, and other three fingers they call three gunas. So there's each are different values, different process. That is my understanding. Thank you, Saira.
Saira. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts?
I think it's individual preference, right? Like bhajans is musical, so anyone who's into that and feel that is working, then that is bhajans. And I think namasmarana, repetition of Lord's name, is it's what you prefer. So if bhajans also, if you look at it, you're calling name a swami or God in different names and different forms, right? So that's what I understand.
Sai Ram, this is Saku auntie.
Yes, auntie.
As you have said many times, you can do any path you want to follow, but you should make sure that your devotion and your concentration, everything is in that whatever procedure you are trying to do. Any sadhana you can do, but your devotion and your concentration should be there. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, auntie. Anyone else would like to come?
I would say the repetition of name is the individual sadhana and the bhajan is a group singing. So based on Swami's code of conduct, when you start with the individual, then you join with the group, that's more effective. So based on where you are, like if you can join to the bhajan, then that's a different effect on that. So I would say everything has a different effect on that. So individual sadhana, you can repetition of name in your own. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sairam Balanti here. I also think of opinion with the Sagwanti. Whichever method you choose, according to your wish, what matters is more the concentration, the love and the devotion, the intensity of your yearning for God is much more important than the method. I feel that way. I don't know whether I'm correct, but I feel the intensity and your devotion matters, concentration matters more than the method. I don't know I'm correct. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, Auntie.
Sairam.
Yes, sir.
We cannot say that this path is better, that path is better. All the three paths Swami has given to us. But the best thing is, I think, all the actions what we when we do and what we do, divinize them. Swami has already many times he has said that. Divinize all your action and offer it to me, Samarpan. That is the way, I think. Sairam.
Sairam, thank you very much.
Sairam, I thought these are the tools for the cleansing the mind. That's even the subtitle, it says clean and feed the mind. So these are the cleansing tools. That's why I'm thinking that, say for an example, we can clean by shampoo, we can clean by soap, or even some other natural products also, they could do the same job, That's why it's the individual preference. And I also thought about, say for an example, in Ramayanas, the Sabariyamma, she may not go through all of these. She just, did her, the love, and then she would have, given the mukti by God Rama. That's why sometimes the individual preference, we may not say everyone should go through all of these processes. That's my humble opinion on this one. These are cleansing, especially in this particular text, these are cleansing tools. It's an individual preference. One could be over the other. It may not work for all the people. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts?
Sairam, what is that sentence mean? The tottering causes the waves and is caused by want of food and drink. It's not clear.
Okay. Just to, maybe I will ask Auntie to look at the Telugu to get the exact word, but from what I understand, brother, is that tottering in the sense, if, especially when you have someone is walking, if they're weak, that means there is something lacking. So the thing is, the person may be tired. I think that's what Swami says. So there's a lack of strength. The mind is unable to be steady, because for meditation, the mind has to be steady and strong and should be able to contemplate on something. And if it is unable to maintain that steadiness, that means it is lacking strength. So I think that's what Swami is saying. So we need to give it food and drink. So through the meditation, that gives you the strength to the mind to be able to be focused on God all the time. So this is my understanding, but I will open it up for others to discuss. So Mani Auntie, if she could see if from looking at Telugu, if there's a Saira.
You want me to read?
Yes, Auntie.
Okay.
The second last paragraph, Auntie.
Yeah. Nindu bhavilo అలలుండనంత వరకు అడుగు భాగము కనిపించదు. You can't see the base until all the waves are all the waves should come to a standstill. అట్లే Mano Saravaramanandu, Korikaluno. We want all, we have the desires. Desires are just like the waves. So we cannot see the base until those waves are all come to a standstill. Atmanu చూడు కోరువారు ఏ పై భాగమునందు పరిపరి విధముల పారిపోయి మనస్సు కోరికలనే అలలు తగ్గించుకోవడం. We have to reduce our desires. Swami is saying, if you want to see, if you want to go to the depth of the well, అలలు తగ్గి స్థిరత ఏర్పడల వలన మనసుకు తగిన ఆహారం ఆధ్యాత్మిక చింతన కావాలను. Always Swami is saying that adhyatmika chinta, spiritual sadhanas are needed to calm down and then bring the mind and cleanse the mind. దానిని శుభ్రపరచు సామగ్రి ధ్యాన సాధనలు. So first of all, the adhyatmika chintana and dhyana. These two things are the ones who are going to cleanse your mind. So until you cleanse your mind, you cannot get the strength. Balamu radu. Eppudu ee rendu ravo variki atma darshanamu dooramagunu. Those who don't have this kind of adhyatmika chintana and dhyana, they cannot find the atma darshana. Ashanti siramagunu. The peace flies and it recedes into distance. That's the correct. Thank you, Saira.
So I hope, Brother Vibhulisan, you're okay with that. So,
Yeah, I think it makes better sense now. Yeah, thank you.
The waves of the mind, Swami is calling it as weakness. If there's any other questions, but I think I will just address Sister Kalyani's question a little bit, because she asked, is bhajan better or is japam better, and what should we? Based on my understanding of having studied a few other things, the bhajan generally is very, very useful for anyone, because what happens is the tune, if it all of us know, there are some songs which stick in our mind throughout the day. If the tune sort of registers so firmly, the tune will just keep on playing. So that the tune, the music usually helps us to focus on the name because of the taste it gives to the mind. So that is why bhajan is recommended, and Swami says group singing is good, because even if individually we are struggling with our sadhana, when we are praying along with others, that energy carries us forward. Because it's just like any activity, if we are trying alone, it may be difficult, but if 3-4 people get together and do something like lifting something heavy, it becomes easier. So group sadhana always helps our individual sadhana. Ultimately, sadhana is individual. Then I think the question is, in bhajans, there are many names which we are singing. The reason why many names are sung, as Swami says, for each one name will strike a chord and it will help them focus on God. So when many people come together, singing many names will be very effective, because different people have different preferences. In this regard, I remember an incident of Akhanda Bhajan, when, in the initial days, I think second or third Akhanda Bhajan, Swami called the devotees and told them, sing only one name, Sai Hare or something. He said, sing it for 24 hours in different tunes. And so one Akhanda Bhajan, 24 Akhanda Bhajan took place like that. And subsequently, from what I understand, the devotees approached Swami, and then Swami said, okay, it's difficult for you all, so go back to your normal. Though, this is something which we have heard secondhand, we are fortunate to have Mani Aunty with us today. She was present at that time, and I think she has participated in that single name Akhanda Bhajan also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Swami said one name is, you need to, your meditation purposes, one name is the most important. So I will, anyway, first let's listen from Mani Auntie firsthand, who was there. Thank you very much, Auntie, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah. During the second bhajan, Swami did not come, but it was third bhajan, I think, third Akhanda bhajan, when Swami asked us to sing only Sai Hare and Baba Hare for 24 hours. It was a challenge for all of us. So our elders, my aunties and myself, we all sat together and then composed tunes for Sai Hare Baba Hare. How to sing for 24 hours only Sai Hare Baba Hare? It was really a difficult job. So we all sat together and then this same Sai Hare Baba Hare, different tunes and different talents. Somehow we managed to sing that Akhand Bhajan. And afterwards, Swami said, I think some devotees felt that only Sai Hare, why not? Our Ishtadevata, Lakshmi, Parvati, Rama, Krishna, whoever it is. So Swami said, people feel like that, so you start singing Namavalis from the next Akhand Bhajan. So we started singing on different gods and goddesses, Namavalis. That's how Namavali started. What we are all doing now, it started long time ago. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, Auntie. So as you can see, I don't know whether you heard, Swami wanted him to sing Sai Hare, Baba Hare for 24 hours. Ideally, our taste we should develop the taste for one name. And then that name, we should practice again and again. One name, one form. For meditation, both these are essential. But I think to get to that point, our human mind, which is attracted by variety, it needs to be brought together slowly, just like a small child has to be given different different things to motivate them to eat. Same way, I think the bhajan is available. So I am still not going to say, as sisters have already said, it all depends on preference. I think Swami is addressing some of this a little later also. So I will stop here. Thank you very much, Auntie, and I hope, Kalyani, you got at least some partial answer to your questions.
Yes, thank you very much. And I wonder what it would be like to do that now, this Akhanda Bhajan.
No, Sairam, I would like to say something here. Someone asked a question about Namasmarana and Japa, different and kind of thing. So what I have learned from Swami's discourses and his teachings, basically, Namasmarana is basically when you think of a name of God and do any activity, basically you're trying to recollect and remember the name of God, and while you are doing any other activity. So while calling it japa, basically the activity is for total concentration with no other activity. It's only chanting the name of God and thinking of Him is becomes the japa. And in the case of meditation, Swami has said that when you every activity that we are doing is basically we had to concentration. The deep concentration is sometimes some people call it a meditation. So Swami said any activity that you're doing, if you cannot concentrate, basically you cannot do that activity. Therefore, that should not be treated as a meditation. Meditation is something beyond that, where basically you once you start thinking of the name of the form of God, and you forget the world around you, that becomes a meditation. So, and Swami said only few seconds are required. I think one of the discourse Swami said 22 seconds or something like that you need in order to see God in meditation. So one thing is that 21 seconds required with total focused concentration, and then we can get into the meditation. So these are the three things that he talked about that in one of the discourses. So that's the difference between Namasmarana and Japa and meditation. And Swami said that each individual can take any form, and meditate on that. And Swami also has specifically said there's Rupa Dhyanam, there's Nama Dhyanam, there's Lila Dhyanam, and so different things that we can take and we can contemplate on that, and that also becomes a meditation, and this will only help us purify our mind. That's all. Thank you, Sarah.
And just one more question before we move on. Is it necessary to have japa mala to do japa?
No.
No, so Swami didn't say that japa mala is required. Swami said japa is basically when you have total concentration, that becomes japam. So basically, you don't only the mala is kept used by people in order to keep a count. If they have focusing on 108 or 1008 chant, then whatever, then you use the mala just to keep a count of that. That's the reason. Otherwise, japa mala is not required. And then, so I just forgot to mention that Swami said when japa is added with music is added to japam, it becomes a bhajan. Japa and bhajan. So Swami said that becomes bhajan, and bhajan basically when you're singing alone, the Swami, God is Gana Priya, the lover of music. So Swami said, for example, he used to give example, Chitta Chora Yashoda ke Bal. So even calling God as a thief, it's a very rude statement, but when you sing it with us, Chitta Chora Yashoda ke Bal, it's a sweet and God accepts it lovingly. So Swami said, when you add music, it becomes a bhajan, and as an individual, you cannot continue to sing for long period of time. But when you do a group singing, you sing and the devotees follow, give chorus, so that becomes a continuous flow that you have enough time to have breath and continue. So, and also Swami said that when many people come together and with the same intention, the same devotion or same faith and same earnestness, that creates energy, and therefore that Swami recommended group singing of bhajans. Individually you can sing, but I think that one has to be basically energy given to the individual, but when you do it in a group with the same devotion, that basically helps the devotees to gain energy. And only thing Swami said, when you're doing bhajan activity, you have to think of the form. You have to, when you nama trikarna suddhi, Swami said, name, thought, word, and deed have to be together. Otherwise, you will not get the benefit of that activity. So when you're doing the bhajan singing, you have to, if you are singing any bhajan, Swami said, if you're singing a Krishna bhajan, you can think of Krishna. But the thing is, if you are only basically attached to one particular form, it doesn't matter. You can chant any name, any bhajans you can sing, but think of the form that you like. So that's also perfectly all right, because all names are attributed to God, and God, all forms are one and the same. And then Swami said one more thing, that is, if you don't think of a God's form, then what happens? Your mind is diverted, and then when there's no Trikarna Shuddhi, you don't get the benefit of that. And some other, in long time back in Prashant Nilayam, the ladies used to do a lot of seva activity, and they used to sit outside and follow the bhajan. Swami used to go and tell them, no, come and sit inside, because when you're sitting outside, you're looking at other people and getting distracted, and so your mouth is you're singing the name of God, but the thought of God is not there. Therefore, you come and sit inside and look at me or look at the altar and then sing. Only then you get the benefit of bhajan singing. Thank you, Sairam.
So, Sairam, brother, I'd like to add one more thing here. In order to see the Atma Darsana, we have bhajan, namaswarna, japa, meditation. So dhyana is like a, if you want to go for to a place, it's like a dhyana is the fastest route, fastest way to achieve the Atma Darsana. And yeah, that's my understanding too, brother Sairam.
Thank you very much.
So I'm sorry for the basic questions, but for japa, I know Swami has talked about the significance of 108, but say you get interrupted in the middle, or if you're doing japa at other times and you don't have a japa mala, like is it bad to stop at a random number, or does that not really matter?
Well, with regard to that, I remember someone asked, so how many times we should pray? So Swami said, because God is your Atma, so therefore there's no restriction on the number. So the 108 is basically a number, sacred number, but there's no restriction on that number. So you don't, please don't get attached to that particular number, because in your day-to-day activity, if you are doing the namas, okay, if there's no continuity, it becomes a namasmarana. If there's a continuity and you're finishing at a particular point, you think call it japa. So, but that doesn't mean that you will not get the benefit of that.
I think, Kalyani, your question is that, you know, something bad will happen. I don't.
I think Arul has given very exhaustively has told about those. I think it's very nice. Thank you.
So, one
Yes.
more question I would like to ask you. The reason for 108 times, I've read somewhere, there's a diameter of the sun, and if you multiply by that 108, that's a distance of the earth. Same thing for the moon too. The diameter of the thing multiplied with the 108, that will give the distance. There should be some scientific, spiritual reason to say 108 times when you're doing the japa. If anybody can explain to that one. Thank you, Jai Sir. And one more thing I read, there's 12 into 9. That is 12 in astrology. If you are thinking that way, it's a 12 houses, 9 navagraha. When you multiply that one, it's going to come 108 times. So there's a works. Definitely, there's some reason to japa going by mala 108 times, 3 mala, 4, 9 mala, 5 mala. There should be one reason. If anybody can explain to that one too, please.
Sairam, I think 108 diameter of love reach God.
Sairam, actually 108, that is a significant number, because when it get added 9, and 9 is representing Brahma, unchanging, because as you said, when we do so many multiplication, when you add up the figures, it comes 9. Baba said it is Brahma. But suppose we finish 2 malas. So when you get up, if you happen to say one more name, the same name you happen to say, so it gets one more. So does that mean the effectiveness does not come to you? No. So it is sometimes what happens, people say, oh, I did 3 malas of Gayatri. Sometimes it boosts the ego also of the person to say that, oh, I did 5 malas, I did 2 malas. No? So as all others said, it has a significance, no doubt. Many people have told that, and many shastras are saying that so many malas have to be done and so many things. But when we look at the real meaning, it does not matter actually. It could be more than 2 malas, 2.5, or whatever the number it is now. So that is how we have to take it. But your number, the diameter, and Baba said that multiplication of 9. So it is very, very significant number. Even in one of the Sai speaks, Baba said, here on these days there are 18 people are sitting, and the 18 devas are required for Rajaga. 18 is 1 and 8, 9. No? So there are so many significance, no doubt on that. But it is good. It is good for us to do malas of names. That's also fine. But it is not a necessary requirement to earn the grace. I think it might make sense. Thank you, Sayara.
I think yes, I agree. I also agree with Anna. So Swami said that when all of us do the spiritual activity, in order to achieve a state where at the last moment of our life, when just we are about to leave our body, we are supposed to think of God. So if we restrict our chanting to 108 or 1008, we are we'll be more focusing on we are restricting our prayer to that particular number only. So therefore, Swami said, anytime, anywhere you can chant. For example, when Swami gave discuss on Gayatri Mantra, Swami said, when you're walking, you can chant the Gayatri Mantra. When taking bath, if you chant Gayatri Mantra, it becomes Abhishekam. And if you chant Gayatri Mantra when you're eating food, it becomes a Naivedyam. So therefore, you can chant any number of times. There's no limit for it. So maybe, but 108 and 9, number 9, 108 and 1008 and all that have some spiritual power. That number has power, but only thing is we don't have to restrict our chanting to that number specifically. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, I guess so. We have exhaustive discussion on this. As we can see, Swami has not mentioned a number. That itself should tell us something, because his bar is very high. He will say 24 hours and 365 days. Throughout your life, you should do. So with those thoughts, we will move on to the next chapter. Sister Kalyani and Narmada, if it's okay.
Meditation reveals the eternal and the non-eternal. The scene is transitory. This is seen through meditation. When people wander helter-skelter in a strange land, not knowing the road, and when someone comes to direct them along the right path, it is not right to laugh at the dishonor and dishonor them. It brings about only ruin and confusion. But today, it has become the habit of people to curdle the love, prema, these embodiments of love, into poison through ignorance of the role of helpfulness that these guides have come to play. Note this: love and destruction arise from the same native spot. The same sea that yielded gems, the moon, nectar, and goddess of wealth, also brought forth the world-destroying halala poison. Under these conditions, one must, like Sri Narayana, accept the good and the auspicious. Otherwise, one cannot have nectar and Lakshmi. The heroic and adventurous like Siva can have the poison as their need.
Some very thought-provoking words from Swami. So Swami is telling that a few things Swami is saying. That we should realize that the world is transitory, and we should look for that which is permanent, eternal. And Swami says, when people come to guide us, say the right things, sometimes we tend to laugh it off. And I think that is also something which we have to guard against, Swami says. Because he also says, there's sometimes from the same sea which we are churning, we can get the nectar as well as poison. So all those who cannot handle the poison should just take the nectar, and that way they can save themselves. But he says only Shiva, someone like Shiva, can handle poison. So with those words, I will just open it up for discussion. And I think it is not complete, I guess. I don't know whether we should read 2 more paragraphs, sister, and then discuss, because otherwise it's just half.
Yes. The Lord's grace is needed to cross the sea. The sea of life, samsara, turbulent with the waves of joy and misery, can be crossed only by those who have an unflinching desire for the essence of bliss. the rest will be submerged. The capacity to overcome the qualities, gunas, of nature, prakriti, is not inherent in everyone. It comes to one with the grace of the Lord, and that grace is to be won by repetition of the divine name and meditation. This must first be clearly understood. It is impossible for everyone to control the tendencies of nature. The power is possessed only by those who have nature in their grip and those commands nature obeys. Nature, Prakriti, is the basis of everything in the universe. It is the basis of creation and existence. All this is nature, men and women, beasts and birds, trees and plants. In fact, all that can be seen is inseparable from a nature. In this endless creation, the active element is the Lord, Purusha. This truth has to be experienced so that it will not slip away from consciousness, and the discipline needed for this is also repetition of the divine name and the meditation. This nature is like an ocean. Even if it is agitated a little, millions of living beings will be destroyed. When the sea becomes slightly ruffled, ships turn into hollow weeds. You can never cross the sea by your own effort alone. The Lord's grace is essential. So pray for that draft, and when you secure it, you can reach the shore in a trice.
Okay, thank you very much, sister. So I hope we will go back to the previous slides. I think it may be good now. So as Swami has said, this world is the ocean which we are traveling, and we are struggling. And when help comes by, we should not discard it. We should not laugh off and not take it seriously. And that help is actually nothing but the grace of the Lord. And then Swami says how we have to navigate this world is accepting that is what's positive, even though the poison also inherent in it. So those are my words. With those, I think I will open it up for discussion. From participants, you can share your thoughts, please.
When Swami is referring to love and destruction, is that is he referring to like Maya or something else?
Yeah. So the curdling of the love, is that what you are referring to?
In the second paragraph, love and destruction arise from the same native spot, and then people like Shiva can have poison as their need. So what is the poison and what is the destruction? What is that referring to?
Okay, I think I will open it up for discussion. Yeah, it's a good question. So how does the same place generates love and confusion or disagreement is what this is asking. Can everyone share your thoughts, please? Sai.
Swami is referring to the Samudra Matan. Samudra Manthan, when it's the same spot, from there, gems and moons, everything, nectar, everything came. And Hala Hala is also come. It also came. So this world of samsara, where we are living, we have to face sukha, dukkha. Both are there. So one must have the grace of the Lord to accept the good and auspicious and overcome whatever difficulties in the form of hala hala come to us. That's what I understand. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
So, Sairam, brother, my understanding is in this wave, that turbulent and with the waves, joy and misery. So, only with the God grace only we can cross the ocean. So, without His grace, we cannot able to cross that one. For that, we have to do the divine name and meditation. Thank you.
Sairam.
Sorry.
Sairam, while agreeing with Mr. Mani Bhashan and Brother Dasan, and additionally, I just wish to just to dwell something on the first paragraph. So, actually, when we cannot, there are so many jnanis coming and to help the mankind actually, but people don't know, they laugh at and they don't take the advice from them, and they are losing the rare chance. And specifically, Baba maybe indirectly hinting that the Lord himself, the avatar, has come, but people don't pay. They talk this and that, and they don't pay attention, and they are just losing the rare chance of getting benefit from the direction. So so that point we better take into account, I think. And yeah, that's what I mainly wanted to say. Thank you, Sayara.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Anyone else has something to say? So maybe I will just comment on, I think, Sister Kalyani's question. See, if you just take, the world also, we see so many things, as Auntie Mani has already spoken about. We can also look at our own heart. It's the same heart from which good qualities come out and bad qualities also come. The love also can come out, and the love curdles, it can come out as venom, you see. So the thing is, we should understand the same source of every thought can either make it nectar, life-giving to people around us in the world, bring lots of benefit to the world. But the same thing can also bring about negative impact on this world. So actually, that's what the meditation is all about: curdling, churning the heart and making sure all the poisonous come out, and then at last the nectar comes out, which is bliss. And then Swami says, when the negative things come out, just offer it to the Lord. Swami always says, what you can offer is all your bad qualities you offer to me. So I think Swami is also telling us we should not be surprised that negative things are coming out of our own heart. It's bound to come, but then we should discard them, and we should only take what is the positive. And that's what I understand. Swami also gives this example of, he says, if you have a rose flower, there's a thorn just below that. He says, love is like the rose flower, but attachment is like the thorn. And both come together, but the person who is intelligent and wise will know how to take the flower without being scratched by the thorn. The attachment also will well up from our heart. We should know how to discard it and only make use of the love which comes from our heart. And I think Swami is sort of alluding that as the goal of meditation itself, to know how to discard and separate the negative from in our heart and offer the negative to the Lord. He will take care of it, and then distribute what is positive to the world around us. Because Vishnu, your Narayana, is the one who distributes everything good in this world, whereas Shiva takes care of everything bad and burns it to ashes. And that's what I understand. I hope that question answers you, sisters.
Yes, that makes sense. At first I thought Swami was saying there's two paths, you can be like Narayana or you can be like Shiva.
No.
I think that makes sense what you said.
Yeah. Constantly there is a struggle going on in our hearts, as Arun put it, between negative qualities and the good qualities. Both arise from the same heart, but as he said, just to avoid those bad evil qualities, and encourage the good ones to come out so that we can be a better person. Saira.
Thank you, Auntie Saira. We can move on to the next slide and then discuss, I guess. Everyone will have. If everyone wants, we can read it again once more.
Saira, Brother Arun, I have a question here. On the second paragraph, on the first line, they say the same sea that yielded gems, the moon, nectar, and the goddess of wealth. I know, I remember the story that the churning of those part, but would you be kind enough to elaborate the story, whatever that comes out of that by churning? And I don't know about this goddess of wealth, all these came out. So I'm trying to understand that part. If you could kindly elaborate the story for us. Thank you.
Okay, brother. I don't know how, anyone else, I will ask for volunteers to tell the story of the churning of the ocean, because Swami has referred to it.
Saira, but there are so many versions of the story.
Yes.
But this is a very comprehensive story here. Here that when Devas and Asuras were churning the Milky Ocean, with the help of the snake Vasi and the help of Mandara mountain, all these things came one by one, no? That all these things, even moon came, and that was taken by Shiva, and it goes to Shiva's head, and Lakshmi came, and Lakshmi Narayana. Lakshmi came, and Lakshmi wanted Narayana, so he married her, and so then come the poison comes, and so only the heroic was Shiva, no? He is the hero, so people, Devas prayed to him, and he managed to take the poison and swallowed it and put it in the throat, okay, whatever it is. Then came the nectar. Nectar came. So then even Narayana, because it's Narayana who started the initiative. So because to cure some curse, on the Devas. So and Narayana distributed this nectar to people, the Devas, and so that so even the gems are found under the sea. So the sea has had all these. As brother explained, it's very nice explanation. Actually, the heart meditation. So during the meditation times, all bad thoughts can come, no? So we have to offer it to Lord Shiva, because he will accept. God will accept. Even Baba has been saying every time, bring me the bad qualities and offer it to me. I will prepare to accept, and I will give you good things to you. So like that. So the story is illustrating that during the meditation, when the bad thoughts and bad feelings and bad sights and everything come, if they come, offer it to me and go on. At last you will get the nectar, and it is bliss and final merger one day. That's what I would like to say here. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
Saira.
So we can go to the next one.
Yes, so next. Maybe Sister Narmada, you can read it once more if you don't mind.
Sure. The Lord's grace is needed to cross the sea. The sea of life, samsara, turbulent with the waves of joy and misery, can be crossed only by those who have an unflinching desire for the essence of bliss. The rest will be submerged. The capacity to overcome the qualities, gunas of nature, prakriti, is not inherent in everyone. It comes to one with the grace of the Lord. And that grace is to be won by repetition of the divine name and meditation. This must first be clearly understood. It is not possible for everyone to control the tendencies of nature. The power is possessed only by those who have nature in their grip and whose commands nature obeys. Nature, Prakriti, is the basis of everything in the universe. It is the basis of creation and existence. All this is nature, men and women, beasts and birds, trees and plants. In fact, all that can be seen is inseparable from our nature. In this endless creation, the active element is the Lord, Purusha. This truth has to be experienced so that it will not slip away from the consciousness. And the discipline needed for this is also repetition of the divine name and the meditation. This nature is like an ocean. Even if it is agitated a little, millions of living beings will be destroyed. When the sea becomes lightly ruffled, ships turn into hollow weeds. You can never cross the sea by your own effort alone. The Lord's grace is essential. So pray for that raft, and when you secure it, you can reach the shore in a trice.
Thank you very much, sister. So I think the story of the churning of the ocean was a good segue for these paragraphs. Because Swami says the capacity to overcome the qualities is not inherent in everyone. And so the thing is, even if you take that story of the churning of the ocean, the Devas became very weak because of a curse. And they were about to die. And so they went to God and Vishnu and asked, what can we do? He said, churn the ocean and you will get Amrita. And then they said, but we can't, we don't have strength even to, then he said, take the help of the Asuras. They will, let them pull on the other side and you pull on one side. And apparently the Mantra mountain was taken and the Vasuki, which is the serpent was used as the rope, and they started churning. And this mountain, Mandara mountain, started sinking into the water. Then they again prayed to Vishnu and he said, okay, I will support it. So as you can see, Swami is sort of treating the repetition of the name to the churning of the mountain. But what happens is, even that becomes, it starts drowning. And then you need God's help. And Swami says here, even there also grace of the Lord is needed even for that. He will keep it up. But through this, so meditation and japa, Swami is sort of equating to this churning. And through that process, Swami says we'll cross the world, cross this ocean. Okay, I will stop here and I will open it up for discussion. Sai.
So, Sairam, I like to bring one of the stories that happened in Prashant Nilayam, and I would like to narrate it where Swami was talking about a similar thing. So, you all would have heard about Sundaraya. So, it was basically Sundaraya is the one who, with whom Swami interacted at that situation. So, Swami had always said that when you start doing meditation, we might get bad thoughts, and as you are progressing for the first few days, you might get bad thoughts coming or recollect the bad things that has happened in your life, because Swami said every act that we do remains in us as a memory, and when you're trying to do meditation and get rid of all the bad tendencies in you, what you get out first is basically all the bad things that are in you, and then at the end only you will start receiving good results and you will see God more. So Swami had given this as in discourses Swami has said. So Sundaraya also knew about it. So what happened basically, he was doing a staircase duty, was helping Swami, staying inside with regard to cleaning and all that kind of thing. So one day he was there was a food container had come, and he was washing the dishes, and that time Swami had silently walked behind and asked, "Hey Sundar, what are you doing?" So he has said, "Swami, I'm washing this dish." So Swami said, "Okay, put the container there under the tap." And he said, "Open the tap fully." So as he had opened the tap fully, the food particles that were in the container had come out first. And then Swami had said, "Stop it." So all the some food particles had come, and still there was some more food particles there. Then Swami had opened again in full blast, and then allowed some time, and then closed the tap to show there was no food particles, only clean water was there inside. So Swami had told him, "See, when you do meditation, first comes out is the bad thing that was inside. All the dirt that was inside comes out. But just because the dirt comes out, you should not stop your activity of meditation. You should continue to do that, so that at the end, but you should do it full force of that activity, the meditation, so that at the end, once all the bad things come out of you, then there will be no bad things at all. Only good things will be there. God's grace and God's darshan will be there. You will receive it." So therefore, at the initial stages of the meditation, you might get you might recollect or remember, or it'll come into thoughts and bother you. But at the end, what happens basically is you get the reward of what you yearn for. So that's what basically is. So this is similar thing where Swami is talking about meditation. So we might mistake certain things, and we should not stop at the initial stages when we get the poison or anything like that. We should continue. Only then we'll get Vishnu and Lakshmi and prosperity and everything. Thank you, Sarah.
Sairam, anyone else would like to share anything?
So, Brother Sairam, so here I want to just echo the same thing, but no, the Sattva Rajastamas actually mainly, these are very difficult to get over. That's what Baba is saying, that so very difficult. The human effort is impossible. As you rightly pointed out in the story, that Lord Narayana comes as a tortoise, big tortoise, and stand on the bottom of the mountain, and so that they can make a stable ground so that they can churn the ocean. So the Lord grace, even when we try, whatever the way we try, the evil qualities we cannot get rid of. So the God's grace must be there. So pray for the draft, Baba was saying, that say boat. Okay? So pray for the draft. And when you secure it, you can reach the shore in a trice. So so our aim has to be to have full faith in the Lord and ask the Lord to give us His grace. So to earn the grace also, we have to have some qualification. Otherwise, we can't earn the grace. So we have to do our part, all purification, everything. And then with His grace only, we can delve into the meditation. So meditation cannot be, that's what the people flee from this sadhana, no? From this sadhana, because they think this is too much, no? We think this is too hard. Actually, it's too hard. So we need His grace. That looks the essence of this Bhagavan's words. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else has something to say or ask? Otherwise, we can. Okay, we'll go to the next slide if it's okay, and read. We have 10 minutes left.
I think in the third paragraph, oh, sorry. This is,
yes, Auntie, read, please.
Yeah. See, Prakriti is everything. Whatever exists is because of the Prakriti. And we should never forget that it is inseparable from Purusha. Purusha is the element, active element, which is making the Prakriti to work. So he's the basis. He's the substratum for all this Prakriti, what we see outside, external world. So and that to experience that truth, before it slips away from consciousness, discipline is needed. And there, our dhyana, our namasmarana, everything will come to help us out. So, Sairam.
Yeah, that point is to be underlined actually. Yeah. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you.
Why worry over short-lived attachments? Everything in the world is ephemeral, transitory. It is here today but may not be here tomorrow. So if you want to crave something with a full heart, seek the Lord, who has no decline. Instead, if you crave progeny, wealth, and all comforts, you will suffer untold misery when you are called upon to leave everything and depart. At that moment, you would lament, "Oh, did I love so deep that I may weep so loud?" In this transitory life, joy and pain are also perforce transitory. So it is indeed humiliating to get immersed in the search for the evanescent and to forget the supreme and everlasting. Ignoring God, Madhava, who is free from illusion, Maya, and spending time in things immersed in illusion is fruitless. Sorrow alone is the final gain. Nothing here is fit to be worshipped as eternal. Whomever you love, that love has to come to an end. The self-same Lord gives and takes. He gives and takes as when he wishes. Everything is his. So how foolish it is to lament when things belonging to him are taken back by him. Therefore, the wise person doesn't pine over anyone or feel undue attachment to anything. Let all the pining and all the attachment be for the Lord. He alone is eternal, the source of all joy. For the rest, love a thing as a thing, not more. Love a person as a person, not more. If you love them more, it is a sign that you have been deceived about their real nature. You can behave only for a short time as if the house you have rented is your own. For as soon as the period is over, it passes on to another.
Thank you very much, sister. So Swami, the curdling of love which Swami mentioned earlier on, Swami is elaborating on. This is the rose flower with the thorn of attachment. Because what happens in this world, Swami says, sometimes we mistake the thorn to be the flower and discard the flower itself. So because the attachment brings about misery, and so Swami is expanding on that so much. I think I will just pause here and open it up for discussion and sharing of your thoughts. Sai.
Sai Ram, brother. I have a question. I mean, we all know this, that this is all Maya, nothing is permanent. Our Lord is permanent and it's all His creation. I'm struggling. I mean, we all know, we always read in different Vahinis that He's permanent. His short-term attachment is one of those which keep us away from self-realization or, seeing God in everything. So what is there in mankind deep down which is holding us back, which is holding us to realize that this is all drama? I mean, attachment is the biggest issue here with human beings. So what is in deep down in all of us which is not allowing us to get detached? Sorry, I don't know if it's off the topic, but I'm asking, what is there? We know the fact, but what is that in us? Fear, lack of faith? What is that one thing which is not allowing us to get detached with all these things?
Very good question, sister. It's definitely it's part of the topic, so subject. So I will again open it up for comments and thoughts from everyone here. So,
This diagram too.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Dasan, go ahead.
Yes. So detachment. So we have to know, we have to understand our real knowledge. What is our real knowledge? We are divine sparkle. So why we are going behind to the things, worldly things that's going to be changed or going to be destroyed? So why don't we are permanent? So what is our purpose of the life? We have to go back to the where we came from. So that's what we are learning, all these kind of things. So our time is given short time. Here the Baba is mentioning short time. So within short time, we have to achieve the goal. So for an example, if you take a frog is looking at a worm and jumping and eating and enjoying. But the frog doesn't know behind there's a snake is there. Snake is thinking I'm going to enjoy the frog. Same thing behind to the snake, the peacock is there. The peacock going to kill the snake. The behind to the peacock, there's a hunter is there. So same thing for us. Whatever the karma we are doing, we don't know. We have to, all the karma, it has reaction, reflection, resound, everything's there. So that's what Baba always say, don't attach to the fruit of the action. So when we have attached, why we are attached? We are satisfying the five senses. So we are not supposed. So the mind is going with the five senses. If we are trying to satisfy the five senses only, if we have the real knowledge, we will use our intellect towards inward, and we'll go with the mind inwardly. Then we can achieve the goal. That is my understanding.
thank you very much, brother. Okay, brother Sivadas, you have
No, sorry, actually, the answering to Sister Shivani's, but I immediately thought of. So this is what people generally call Maya. No, we cannot get rid of this attachment towards children, husband, wife, even the country. So actually, when I think, I thought that these vasanas or samskaras coming from so many births before, it small things that added, and it in the chittam it is stored there. This passion, this mad love towards these people, it is stored there. So when we have brought it, the vasanas from previous births, it is very difficult to get over it. So the only solution Baba is saying here in the Dhyana Vahini, meditate. So that when we meditate, we should not think about, oh, I am going to lose my son, daughter. No, that is not the way. That is be hurting us. No, let us concentrate on God. So that we do everything and we only concentrate on God. The more we think of Him, the more we meditate on Him, more we follow Him, gradually that ties, that the grip will loosen it. And we will see each and everyone is God Himself. So when we feel that each and everyone can live on his own, then the ties get loosened. No? So it is easy to depart at the end of life. So this will gradually have to come. It can come for young families, So sometimes there could be, but generally it takes time. Gradually, we will come to that understanding, which is called knowledge, actually, and that will be the thing, I think. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Sairam, brother, if we get into this kind of knowledge, how the real life going to impact like, for our young families and all? I'm just thinking.
Anyone else would like to talk or share your thoughts? Okay,
sorry.
Go ahead, please.
Deep down in our hearts, not only the detachment should come, as Sister Shivani said, not only that's the reason. The other reason is mamakaram. It is mine, me and mine. These two things are really the obstruction for all of us to get rid of this detachment. I feel so. Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you.
Sairam?
Yes, Auntie.
I think the ignorance, that the misconception that we are the body, that is the main reason for us to get out of this ignorance. When we realize that we are not, this body is not, I and the body are different, and that is perishable, and the Atma is the only, real thing, all the other attachments can be, little by little, we can reduce that attachment, thinking that Atma is the real one and the same Atma prevails in everybody. And I don't know whether it's correct. Swami says, always keep saying, I am God, I am God. At least those divine qualities will little by little come within you. I think that realization of that Atma is different, eternal, pure love is different from the body, and that body is perishable. That truth will make us get ourselves detached little by little. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you.
Saira, one more point to add. Even in this, maybe the first quotation, Swami said, whomever you love, that love has to come to an end. And also I'm trying to give some explanation for Sister Aruna's question, how this would impact maybe the younger family's life, or how it would be taken. Say for an example, all these things, even in Hinduism, they have nicely explained in the life cycle. There are Brahmacharya, Illaram, Vanaprastham, and the Thravaram. That's why even in the beginning of the life, they have to undergo everything, and maybe at a certain stage, we have to renunciate gradually. Say for an example, if I marry today, maybe next day I can't say that Swami told me that love has to come to an end. So it should be a gradual process. Maybe at the end of the life cycle, we have to easily, the Brother Sivadas also nicely explained that, when the time to go up, we have to easily disconnect from our all desires and the love and affection. So for even whatever we are learning here for young families, the understanding and the possessiveness and all kind of things, if we learn from here, we can apply, even love and affection also, it shouldn't be in a possessive level. You have to look at everybody in the same perspective. You sometimes in the very beginning, your husband or your wife or your children, it would be much more important than any other things. But when the time comes, you have to really understand, the whatever we learned, and then you can, whatever you learn, even at the age of 10 or 15 or 20, it will go into your subconscious mind. Then whenever you need it, it would automatically come, and you would, cross the ocean of life easily when you reach that level. That's my, the thought on this one. Thank you, Saira.
Sarah Mantia, I just wanted to share my understanding. I think the key word here is Swami also says, love a person as a person, not more. And then the other thing is everything belonging to him and will be taken back to him. So if you keep that understanding or awareness, then when you're living the life, as your auntie said, the real life or whatever this Maya that we are in, the understanding everything is Swami. So if you love Swami, and so you're just if you have children, you're a guardian. They are gods. You're just guardian, and you're responsible to take care of. So if you have that understanding, and also, like you said, whoever that love, see God in everyone, then you do your job or work as it's your duty to the best, because Swami says work is worship, food is God, and everything in that sense. Then I think if you have that understanding, then you're not loving them more, or whatever, to repeat Swami's word here, as a person, not more. God is more, everything is his. Then I think uh, in that understanding, you can live the way Swami says here. That is my small understanding on this, to answer Andy's questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very much. Okay, Brother Rajagopal, you have something to say?
Yes, sir. Everybody gave a very good explanation. I just one little thing that we came alone, we come to the world alone, no? We go back to alone too. In between, we have all that attachment, everything that is not permanent. So God only permanent. The things, everything is goes away, and that's the mind. Always these things in our mind. Go ahead and do, but until the last. That's my opinion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother. So it's about 4:53. I'm just going to just summarize what we heard, I guess, and hopefully Sister Shivani and Sister Aruna got the message. But I think I'll just echo. I think Sister Narmada very nicely complimented whatever others have also said. The problem, which I think, just to answer Sister Shivani's question based on whatever others have said, why we suffer from this, we forget that everything in this world has been given by God. When you forget that it has been given by God and He will take, we should not be worried, because what He gave, He is taking back, but He is there with us forever, as Brother Rajagopal has nicely said. So when we forget that, all this problem comes. The problem comes, God has given us something, and then we have forgotten God and say, what we have given is enough for us, we don't need you. That type of attitude, if we cultivate, then it becomes a problem, I think. So if we always remember that everything we have, whether it's people or things, is given by God, then I think that problem will go away. And God is more important than any of that. And I think to address Sister Aruna's question, because she thinks detachment means neglect. We don't do things which it is not so. But the thing is, detachment is not being attached, thinking, not having possessiveness, as Mani Auntie nicely said, the possessiveness, mamakaram, mine, that feeling should not be there. That is the attachment. Instead of that, if we feel God has given a person, you will take care of it in the best way possible. Whether it's an object or a person, you'll think Swami has sent his child to me and it is my duty to give the best. Then your love will be much better than out of attachment. Actually, the love Out of attachment, actually, we will beat the person also. You are not doing well because my name is at stake. That's the way we treat people with us. If you get a bad name, it just affects me, that type of tendency. So the thing is, when we think something Swami has given, then we will give the best attention. So I don't think it comes in the way of whether you're young or old in dealing with people, because your love will be full. It'll be full because you are doing the best possible to please the Lord. And there nothing, you will not even expect anything. You only expect God's love for you. I think we will continue this discussion. I think everyone will have a week to ponder over and come and share, because time is up. This is a wonderful subject. So we will close today, and we will go around and look at everything which we have as the gift of God, whether it's things or people, and we will do our best so that Swami will be pleased with us, because we are really doing what we are serving him through that process. So with those words, we will close today's study circle. Thanks to everyone for sharing wonderful thoughts. It was a very enriching one today. Sai Ram. We'll close with Samasta Lokansha. Sai. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Right.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.